introduction sheet this morning. You guys already know, don't trade what you can't afford to lose. You guys already know. Check out the link tree for any prop firms that you guys are buying, or check out for any of the brokers that we're partnered with, because it's a small way to help us, continue to grow and do what we're doing. With that said, Miss Barbara, will you pretty please check our hearts, and then we will get started?
Yes, I will. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you, Father, thanking you, Lord, for all that you do and continue to do in our lives. Father, we invite your Holy Spirit to just have your way today, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do. We thank you, Lord, for your Son. We thank you, Father, for your wisdom. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your protection. We thank you, Father, that it is your way, Father. We thank you, Lord, that we know without you, Lord, we are nothing. We thank you, Father, because your word says with you, Lord, all things are possible. We thank you, Father, that you would continue to bless us, that we be a blessing to others. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Elijah, good morning to you, especially. I know you've been working hard. I've been seeing your posts. Good job. Good job to everybody who's just sticking with it. Let's take a look at what I got. So these are still our targets down here at the 200s. I do think if we're just on the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to clean this up a little bit so you guys get a slightly better view. I'm going to close that out. Got it. Got it. Slightly more. You guys already know we might come up to kind of sweep liquidity, right? There's definitely some imbalances to the upside. I'm going to go turn this back on. Let's see. Turn that off and that off. Just so we can see, we haven't really invalidated this. We haven't inverted that, and we definitely haven't kind of tagged into the other side. We failed to even hit 50%, but we did here twice. Lots of money left behind to the upside. But overall, like, my biggest direction on the day is now bearish. So we've swept out. This is Monday's high. Obviously, we have another overnight gap. The gaps for regular trading hours are they're really not getting filled as much as I think they were for a time. I think we go through seasons like this where we just don't fill them as quickly. It takes a little bit longer to come down. It takes a little bit longer to come down. We have a gap here that got filled and, of course, traded through. We have another gap to the downside and a huge one to the upside. So really, it's anybody's market. But overall, we're bearish on the day. I will say, kind of scrolling in, we've got our pre-market high, pre-market low, yesterday high, yesterday low. This is 50% of yesterday. And this move right here, this little wick that we kind of tapped into, which is also pre-market low, happens to also be overnight 50%, as well as kind of midnight open. So we tagged into that to maybe come up and take our next levels, because that's what this retracement was. This retracement was a 50% retracement of the overnight move. It tagged into several key areas. So now it's going to be one of those, we're sitting, of course, at the point of control, 6 minutes to opening bell. And we're really kind of flattening out here. So we've got from, what is that, 2 a.m. to now, we popped up, we popped down, but we're still just sitting in this same window, which is still above previous highs. So big picture, we're still making higher highs. Obviously, if we're moving down, my targets are first and foremost going to be yesterday's 50%. If we're getting back below that, we have, 400 points to the downside for the RTH and ETH trading range, which is not bad. That'll put us at the 350s.
I think the sell down is the play for today.
Me too. You think they're going to sweep liquidity though? First?
Let me see. Let me look.
Because my 5-minute model's got us setting up for an entry now, and really for the last 20 minutes, but we haven't moved in the last 20 minutes. And I was going to take the entry, but I was working on not taking as many pre-market entries. So I am clean and flat on the day. Hopefully my first trade goes through as it should. Speaking of that, let me make sure this is saved, just in case I have to reset it. I don't know. I don't know that we're going to take out another level. So we've swept liquidity. We've taken this high. This was the high that we wanted to take. I wanted to take yesterday, and we did. We came back up to the 714s. We actually didn't get back up to the 714s till overnight hours, which that was my target yesterday. And now we got 830s. We've taken that. We bounced off taking it. Retrace, came back in. I really like the sells. Really,
I
really.
think because we already took a lot of liquidity in the Asian session, I don't think it's gonna be that much of a pull for the liquidity side. Maybe like if we do come up to sweep liquidity, I would say maybe we come back up into 25,810 to maybe 25,825.
So you don't even think we're going to take this liquidity?
No.
Ugh. Could have, should have, would have been in this trade right here, but I didn't. I'm working on not. That's already. Oh, sorry, it's really not that many points. Please notice, guys, the ATR value is a little low. We are slowing down a little bit, and it's hard. Well, let's see, we got 3 minutes. So I was like, do I have time to talk about this? It's hard because like yesterday was very undigestible, obviously. Okay.
Yesterday was crazy.
It was just, even when you were right on the move, it had this wick candle that's, 100 points out of the way. Wick candle just knocked you out and then went. Same thing with the buys. They wanted to buy. What does it do? It starts to show some buying pressure and it just tanks, wicks to a lower low. Let's get that off my screen. Takes that liquidity and then goes, right? Start to again get some signals of a buy. But before we get that, that's 36, 30-point drop straight to the downside. 30 points straight down. Like, so be careful. I don't necessarily think we're going to get the same level of chop today, but we need to be prepared either way. And remember, we can't be afraid to take days like this, which are just crystal clear, right? It's easy. You buy it up once, you sell it down once, and you're done. So let's come in with a clear mind that every new day is a new day, to the best of our ability. We do get both days, and that's something I'm telling myself this morning is we get the days that are choppy, and that doesn't stop us from the days that are better, right? Because we can't let that happen. And I know I'm guilty of that. But the more I look at the stats in the long term, I went ahead and hooked some sim accounts to my NinjaTrader. So granted, I've used NinjaTrader on and off since July, give or take, because I was also trading on the digital software trade Syncer. But even giving all that, some of those accounts have hit 200% and 300% gains, and I'm not over risking. One of them is set to 2 times the micros, one set to 3 times the micros, one set to 1/2 the minis, one's set to 1 mini in terms of like duplication from what I'm taking on the other accounts. So there's a lot of potential there to say, wait, that's a lot of gains. I know there's hoops to jump through on the other firms, but on your live money, if you're under like the accounts are up, they're all up, which is great. So working on trusting the edge. It's going to suck if this rolls over immediately. We've got 1 minute left. Our indicator is on. I'm going to go down to the 2-minute time frame. I did turn my, let's see if it, yes, I did turn my, my chart over here to 2 minutes as well, kind of just trying to stay off of that 1 minute time frame. We got 20 seconds left. Flat, no trades on the day. Didn't even take this pre-market trade, although it was in favor of my rules. I just did not take it. I'm trying not to. Less is more. Less is more, hopefully. And that's our opening bell, and she's rolling over. Go figure. 62s. That's an instant 20 points drop down. Could have been in at pre-market, but I'm not. It's fine. We'll get a retest. We'll get a nice pullback.
I got it around 5 this morning.
At 5 a.m. I was looking
Yeah.
at the 5 a.m. setup this morning. I did not take it.
Yeah, because after the aggressive price swing up on the 1 hour, and it took out 2 relative equal highs, and then it failed to take out the third. That's sitting in a bearish fair value gap. And the 5, if you check on the 15-minute, from 5 to 6:45, we traded back into the gap that we left from the aggressive price swing up, and then we also traded back into the first midnight range, 12 to 12:30. So that was my indication to hold. After I got in at 5, I was, periodically checking to see how far it would retest because I was anticipating a retest. And then it came back up, retested about 70% of that move. And that was my indication to hold my position.
Nice. I just missed it on a bajillion dollars. I knew I wanted this. I was patient. I guess I'll take it. I'll take the truth where I can find it. I want to bounce here, you guys. This is yesterday's regular trading hours high that we're just bounced off of. We formed a huge imbalance there. That is an enormous move. 72 points. I guess it's not that big. Well, it's big, but it's not like that big. And we just took off. So that was the move. Hopefully we get a bounce here, but likely we're going to come all the way down into here. That's 40 points still to go to the downside. 40 points. If you're looking for your little scalp, I mean, by all means, take it, protect quickly. But for me, I'm going to wait for the, had enough confirmation. I should have, would have, could have been in. I wasn't. Because I am desperately trying not to be trading on pre-market as much. Like if the setup is great, that's fine, but I don't need that many trades a day to accomplish what we're building. I don't need that many. So therefore I don't need to be on my computer at night. Now we're getting a bit of a bounce. It's like the 1 minute of a 2 minute. 690s. Let's see how much of a bounce we can get. Just some.
Yeah, that was an aggressive move down.
That was sweet.
It may be one of those situations, depending how this closes, that it's gonna go for that liquidity and do a big sweep. This day, it may just trend downward, but we'll see. Always this first 30 minutes is always crucial to let us know what's gonna happen. Even sometimes it may bleed into like about 15 minutes to 30 minutes after the close of the first 4 hour, before it actually makes its true move. But definitely leaning bearish. I actually was in on a sell earlier in the morning, but I had to get out of it because of that pullback. I just said I'll get back in, which I did get back in on some of this coming down, but it had knocked me out earlier in the morning. But now it may be making this move for what we were all looking for that sell earlier.
It might be, yeah.
He
That's
seems
just
to be finding support.
To come and tap yesterday's closing price, you got to think that's 59s, where we're currently sitting is 87. So it's almost a 30-point move. I mean, if you want to take a scalp, I am.
in retrospect, though. It still hasn't it's been continuing to make higher highs, but the overall structure has still been bearish. So it's one of those situations that, is it going to continue in the 4 hour bearish structure, or is it going to just get this liquidity and go back up a little bit higher?
I think we're selling hard today.
That's what I'm leaning.
Wednesdays in particular, Wednesdays and Fridays, wherever direction the price is going is usually, a substantial move.
Great point. Absolutely.
Well, Wednesdays are supposed to be back in the FX days, we used to call Wednesdays reversal days, which is not something I ever super subscribed to, but it was the theory, right?
It does happen. Not all the time, but in certain scenarios, I would take that into account.
Let's see what we get here. I think if we're going to get the bounce, I think we might tap into this area first, but we'll see. Looks like we're getting a bounce now. from where price is currently sitting, that's 40 points, give or take. We're trying.
The yield also is dipping from a stall that happened 2 days ago.
What is dipping to the stall?
The U.S. Treasury yield.
I don't think we found that one on here. I think we got the note.
Oh, the
So
note. Let me see what the note's doing. I looked at the note earlier. So on the 1 hour, the note was coming down with small candles. And then let me see what time it started to turn. So I would say the first breakout candle on the 1 hour happened at 4 a.m. And then at 7 a.m., we have a big bearish candle that came back down to retest the breakout. And if this candle would have broke lower, I would have waited or got out of my position. But since the candle at 7 a.m., which I think negates the 9:30 to 10 move, did not break the previous consolidation where it broke out of to the upside, I think that was, kind of like a fake out. So although I see a big bearish candle, it failed to break structure to the downside. And I'm just seeing more bullish candles. I'm seeing selling pressure, but structure is still intact. So since that's still going up and the yield is going down, that's kind of, indication for a heavy move.
well, let's see what let's see what we get. We're still technically inside this 5-minute range. And remember, if we're taking any kind of a breakout outside, so we've got one little move here, but if we take any kind of breakout, it's 67, 73s, 67, sorry. Okay.
ES just pushed outside the top of the range,
Did it really?
the 5-minute range. Yeah.
That divergence is going to be interesting. What's with that divergence? What is YM doing? Oh, YM took off. That's wild.
To the downside?
No, to the upside.
That's
YM.
Oh, that's crazy.
ES up, YM up a lot too. So ES is getting some pretty good strength. YM also strength.
The
I
1
haven't
minute
really
50
studied the
sitting.
correlation between it. Sorry, Scott.
It's okay. Finish up.
No, I was saying I haven't really studied the correlation between the three, to know, like, when one is moving up, if the other is moving down. But I think there's some kind of correlation between the three, though.
Yeah, not the NQ has more text heavy, obviously, so it's going to move a little differently, but like it's not, VTI, it's not the whole stock market, but they're definitely correlated. But they can diverge, and there's whole strategies built off of that. What is that? SMT divergence, right?
True.
Is one is doing something else. Oh, I should look at that. SMT divergence. Yeah, that's going to be a hard. Yes. Sitting there. And Q still trying to push lower. I think they're going to want to tag this before we get that bounce on NQ.
Yeah, I think we're coming down to where I thought would break lower yesterday. And then we made a doji on the 1 hour before the massive move up. So that's my target. I think we're coming down to here, where the doji is before the move up on the 1 hour.
Just tag that area.
Yeah.
ES pulling back, YM still holding up. NQ. So now we're outside of that 5-minute range. There's our fair value gap. That's on the 1-minute time frame. Whole strategy's built off of this and this alone. She's rolling over.
ES is rolling down too.
That's the thing with NQ. Sometimes sometimes it's hit or miss. That's why you gotta sometimes get into the anticipate the move, because sometimes it'll go ahead and move without you before doing that, or you have to be really patient, and it could take almost a day before it actually does a retest for you to get in again.
Oh, I know, that's the worst.
One thing I noticed that if it's trending and you're doing lower time frames, if you're going with that like shorter, trend, if it's one of those days where it's just very bullish or bearish, then you can get small scalps in the direction of where it's going in the case that you can't get a retest. But you have to go with the direction, because if you go against that trend, it can go against you quite fiercely in a quick of the blink of an eye, basically.
100%. Guys, I like this as a target. If ES and them are continuing to roll over, so if they start to reverse, I would second guess and look for a bit of a pullback on NQ. But if they're not reversing, I mean, well, it's not that I'm going to say I want to take the pullback. I just want to be aware of it happening. I'd like to come back into here. Of course, if we roll over on that, let's see, that's all the way down to 590s. We could even say 600s. We filled the overnight gap already. All the way down the 1-minute time frame. If we want to stay bearish, I would want to stay below the 720s even. Nice wick, still getting pushed down. Still getting sold through. ES. So Scott, you're not trading anywhere inside this range at all.
Well, I'm in my second trade. I'm not paying attention to those rules.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. So wait, what rules are you paying attention to?
I'm working something closer to JGS.
Honestly, the more I look at it, guys, that's the quicker entry. Like I mean, that's the 5-minute JGS I would have taken this morning. I didn't take it. Again, trying to avoid taking so many trades. Again, I really want to get my number of trades down. Which I'm doing fairly well at. And I could be doing better. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I could be doing better, but I am getting more disciplined in favor of peace, more peace. Okay.
So why didn't you take the 5 a.m. entry?
I
Jen?
wasn't up at 5 a.m. I was looking at it.
Oh
so
yeah, my bad.
So what is it? I didn't take the 5. And honestly, I'm trying not to be trading as much overnight. Like if I have to flip a trade or something and I'm available. I don't mind taking like one of those quick trades, but also one of the rules that I'm putting on my little rules for me thing is for futures, if I don't have a solid 30 minutes that I want to sit in front of my screen, I don't want to take the trade because I don't want to have to watch it. Like I'm not trading on Project X. So it's a little different. This one's 5 a.m. So you got a great entry 5 a.m. I was up 6 a.m. So by 6 a.m. I saw this had already happened. And I didn't check my charts for the first couple of minutes. So I figure, I think I saw it after this. And I knew I'd want to retest if anything along those lines. We got it. This, I should have, would have taken it, but I ended up walking out of my office to avoid from taking this from 8:55 on. I did not want to be tricked into trading. So I walked out of my office. I'm being honest, okay? Because I'm trying not to. And don't get me wrong, days like this, it was great, but days like yesterday, pre-market was a mess, just like open was. was a mess. It was chop fest.
Yeah, real wiki.
Just a chop fest. And it's not like your direction was wrong or right. It was just, it was going to tag you out no matter which direction you wanted to go, and then go in the direction you wanted to go. And you got,
Because it did exactly what you were anticipating, but
it
not the
did.
time that you wanted it to.
That's correct. That's humbling too, to say, again, with my other style of trading, more swing-ish trading, I was right a lot. Like, and I'm quote right a lot. But that doesn't necessarily equal payouts on these prop firms, nor I knew what I wanted yesterday. And we pulled down. It really wasn't that big of a move. 500s, it was a 100-point move. So this whole move, that whole chop fest was smaller than, our open bell today. But by this time, you're just exhausted. You're like, screw these candles, to steal from Jonathan. Screw those candles, all of them. The time this happens. But I did end up catching a little bit later on in the day. I caught this.
Yeah, it was definitely dirty work. But today it looks like that was aggressive move. You just see that candle today. It looks like
Sure did.
they're making their move. It may still possibly pull back up, but I'm looking for definitely a trend days. It'll be interesting to see this hour close. Depending how big this hour close is, that'll really tell our hand if there's big players in here that are going to be trying to move it a little bit further down.
That 100%. I just closed out of my trailing stop on that because I don't want it to knock me out. I've only got one position left. I was going to turn off that P&L, but I did turn it off. Actually, it just keeps turning back on.
I'm up about 4R right now.
4R is awesome. That is incredible. I'm going to see if I can't hold this one micro. I also have Ninja Trader knocking me out at very modest amounts on a lot of accounts, or just some accounts, I should say, not all of them. So all these green accounts, it hit target already, and it's going to knock me out and no longer be trading, or it should be knocking me out. So I want to be knocked out and not have to be in it. So the ones that are, some of them will just disappear from this list. Actually, they won't disappear. They're going to turn red or green. So if I've hit my target, it stops on the day. Some of them don't. 53, yeah, those are flat. It's almost at 200. So see what I can't get on the rest of it and just let the rest run. This is only the 2 trades I took this morning. That's it. Only the 2 trades, nothing else.
Nice, Scott. That was a 4 on your ES trade.
Yes.
Nice.
Traded on the 1 minute with 0.5% risk.
Did you get multiple entries on that pullback? Were you already in prior to the pullback and then you just added to it, or?
I got stopped out on my first entry as it deepened the pullback, and I'm trending now. ATM's got the wheel.
Nice.
43.
So where we are right now, Jennifer, anybody who didn't get in on any of this going down, what would you be looking at? What would you be recommending?
So if you're not in currently, let's go to the 5th. Ooh, the 15. I was just looking at the 15. I was like, it might be a no trade is a trade day. Like, so unless we, oopsie, oh, silly girl. Hold on, let me fix that. But unless we get a sizable pullback, we don't want to go aggressively go take all this stuff. We don't want to do that. We need a pullback of at least 50% that doesn't break past, let's come all the way back up here. I'm going to keep that going, guys. We're going to keep it up. My stop is now break even, but that was the candle, and I'll lock that. And I'll lock that. Okay, so if you're not in it now and you're looking, let's go to the 15-minute now that I locked that stuff. We have just tapped into yesterday's 50%. So really expecting the bounce here, very, very likely. There's no sense in giving back 50 or 100 points, probably should close. That's already $100 on 1 micro that you're giving back. 1 micro remaining. But what I would be looking for is something along these lines. So figure measured move from where price broke out That's going to put us all the way back up to the 675s. Earlier today, I said I just don't want to close above the 720s, 730s. I don't want to close back above 734, like this low here. If we're closing back above the 730s, this low here, which is really the same as if we're getting back above the 62%, right? If we're getting back above the 62%, we're not as bearish on the day anymore. So a bounce is inevitable. Like now or here or wherever we're going to get it. I think the bounces are going to happen, especially on the micro time frames. But here, so if I had to stop, I'd be looking for any entries, preferably 1 minute JGS style, right? It's just an easy, clean way to enter. Wait for it to break back above your moving averages and then have that next candle close below. Have the next candle close below the previous low. So get proof of the continuation, proof of the retest on 1 minute, 2 minute, or 5 minute. Sometime throughout the day, hopefully we'll get back above or get back near the 650s, but never higher than the, we'll say 740s, just to give it plenty of wiggle room. As long as we're staying below here, I'm selling all day. Major targets are here, the 250s. I don't know, we're going to get that today. That's a 400-point move, but we could get the 400-point move today.
I think we just might.
That's the worst when you, but now the hard part is, that's a great question, Jonathan. The hard part is, what are some of your guys' opinions? So like, let's say you come to the charts, you're getting a great move and you're not in it. To walk away sometimes is the best answer. Okay, especially if you're prone to over trading or making revenge decisions, and we all are to some extent. But what's the alternative? To say, hey, if we go to the 1 minute, we're just looking for these little retests. You could even put something like the 8 on here, the 8 and the 9, 8 or 9, the 14, whatever your fancy is. Pick your moving average, 20, 50. They're different, but not by a lot. And wait for it to retest. That would be a way to, you can also wait for it to invert and fail to break through any of the imbalances, the fair value gaps. But if we get back below, that's just a bear flag. That's all it is. Which is funny because Stevenson Lindor, I think his name was, great teacher. And from what I know, a great human being. He was big on flags, and this was 10 years ago. I couldn't see them to save my life. I even got an indicator, if I could talk, from MT4 that showed, hey, here's what a flag is. And I just took forever to be able to see it well with my own 2 eyes, to see it naked. But with JGS, really, if you think about it, the retest is just a flag. That's all it is. The flag is just a retest. The retest is just a flag, and it's the same thing. And that, I think, helps me see that a little better. But what about you guys? What would you be looking for to get back in? So like, let's say you've missed this big move. What conditions need to be met before you decide to get in?
Oh, by the way, I think the biggest, the baddest person out there uses the flags as well. But
Oh, big on
anyways.
them. Absolutely big on them.
um, it was interesting how you did mention too, one of the options as well, as opposed to looking for the retest, which is a really good route to go, and using like your, an EMA and getting that confirmation is a great route. Because I know that was one of the things too, way back when, that was like Catherine, she used to always use that on her 1 minute, when you had her come into class and explain where she was getting her 90%. She predominantly always, especially on the reversals, always looked for that retest before she actually got her entry, that confirmation,
Oh,
uh,
100%.
which was a huge catalyst to her accuracy or whatnot, and the conviction as well for holding the trades. But the other thing that you mentioned that's actually, I think, might have slipped over possibly some of our heads is you mentioned too, on a move like this, if you weren't already in it, depending on your psyche, walking away as well for the day as another option as well, or resetting, maybe coming back in the afternoon session, and maybe something sets up then when you can actually get in.
That.
So, Jeannie, do you mean get back in going as a sell or as a buy?
Well, like Jonathan just mentioned, I'm still in this. I'm going to
Because
keep.
if I were one of the first things I would look at, and it's already doing it on yours, if I were to try to get back in as a sell, I'd wait for it to clear that area of interest. I know that for certain. That's the first thing that I would look for.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one too. So mark up your area of interests. But so a few Wednesdays ago, we just opted not to get in, right? It was a few Wednesdays. It was a super clean buy. I can remember it super clearly because I didn't trade it and we knew what I was looking for. I even had a perfect measured move retracement into the zone I wanted to buy. It just thought it was going to pop back down and didn't. So that kind of day, I have no shame about walking away, but there was 500 different opportunities on the 1 and 2 minute charts to come grab an entry and take some of that move, even if it was just a couple of the points. So I'm going to answer that, but let me just finish this train of thought. Back to the psyche part of it. I think the hard part of knowing when to just say, hey, I missed it, is because of this. And I hope you guys can hear this and I'd love to talk about it. I don't know about you. I'm just going to speak to the little gremlins on my shoulder sometimes. But when we see this 100-point move, okay, and we know we missed a 100-point move, and remember, we beat ourselves up, we shame, we guilt, we do all the emotions that go into the emotional aspect. Coming in to grab this and say, hey, wait, I'm just going to grab a retest. I'm going to grab a little bit on this move. I do, the direction's right. I think the struggle is, again, being able to come in here and now be happy with the 20, 10, 20, 30, 40 points. Because if you've already missed X amount, expecting it to give you another X amount, I think that psychological switch, I think messes with people. I know it messes with me. Because remember, it's already moved 100. Why do you want another 100? Like, not to say today we might get the 4. Let's be fair. We might get it. But that's a recipe for disaster. Even this little retest, we kind of failed to tap into that moving average. We did get below that previous bearish candle. That's, what is that? 994s to 68s. That's 20, 30 points. Okay. That's enough. That's all you need. You got your retest. You got your retest. But most people aren't going to be okay with that, knowing they just missed 200 points. Very hard to close your trade happily with 20, 30 points, feeling like you were the feels, the poor penny me thoughts. Okay, I know we all have them. I'm not I don't suffer with that too much. I'm very blessed for that. But everyone has some extent of the, fear of missing out. So you got 200 points. You being happy with 20 is hard to do. It's
Well,
mentally
one thing that you can do is when you have a great deal of strength in a trend, is you can just take a sip chasing. So you take 1 micro and let's say you drop it in here. No particular reason for choosing that. It's just the middle of a big candle. And you pull a really tight stop loss with your 1 micro. And say, if it stops me out, okay. If it goes, great. Then I'll move to break even as quickly as I can and try and ride this.
There you go. That's a good idea too.
That's like what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, similar to that aspect. If you like, for example, go into a lower time frame with the highly trending day, and then just take those 1 minute entries. Like the same thing that Jenny was saying on those 1 minute entries, they're going to give you opportunities. It may not be that big of a retracement, but you'll see in the price action there where it's actually it's gone up. It's maybe tested an EMA and it's had some rejection, and then it's gone close underneath the EMA and is continuing in the same direction, and you can just look for your next area of interest, or like Scott is mentioning, just trail it and take whatever it gives you.
That 100%. Well, back to Catherine, the whole taking retest, I'm going to go the 5 minute for this conversation, and then I'll come back to you as well, Robert. When you're going with the trend, okay, you've got your break. This is a retest. Every little, and this doesn't come all the way down to the moving averages, but if we expanded our MACD, if you're using that, okay, you get your curvature. It's there, fair and square. It's there. Don't be silly. There you go. So you don't take this one, you wait for the retest, especially if you were going down and you're trying to go up. If you're going with the trend, okay, and this is why you take the retest, is because with the trend, this is a flag to the downside. If you're trying to reverse this trend, this is a failed or a very small profit, right? That's why you wait for the retest. It fails to give you the retest to the upside. At this point, you've got double confirmation now to continue with this downtrend. And it doesn't, because that's why people who don't like moving averages, I feel like the reason that they hate them so much is because they're using them in a way that is very concrete, whereas the market is not concrete. It's very fluid. The market is going down right now. It's trying to take every time you kind of cross above it's a good way to lose, right? If you're going down, you're below the 50. I don't have it on the chart, but we know we're below it. We're below the VWAP. So for the most part, we're looking for sells until we kind of break above this trend line, which we're not doing. So we're not getting tripped up as much buy that. Oh, I want to buy. Oh, I want to buy. This one, maybe you break above and you retest. Again, smaller trade, but possible. Now you're getting tricky because you're making a higher low. So this area gets pretty consolidatingly, but it's not as hard as we make it. Hey guys, I think I'm going to close this just because there's no sense. I've given back a lot. I think $150 just, and that's one micro. Those are all the trades. You can hardly see them because they're with one entry, two entries, the same two on the chart. I'm going to exit this because there's no sense in me giving it back.
Yeah, that's crazy how much like when the more you trade micros, you really realize how much damage you can actually do with that, over time. So it really lets you know, like especially with the prop firms, when you're trading minis and all this, or like a higher number of micros based off of your account size, how heavily over leveraged we are.
Oh, heavily. But it's also, Jonathan, I got goal on, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 accounts. I hit go on 8 accounts. Good job. But they're small goals. They're $300, $200, $500 goals. That's what they were. They were not large goals. I just want I've got a pretty good buffer. But back to the micros conversation, the thing I was thinking about last night, Jonathan, is the benefit of using minis is I can build a buffer. Like I can build up a sizable buffer. And with something like Funded Next and Take Profit Trader Pro Plus and funding ticks, particularly, is it doesn't have that trailing drawdown in the same way. It has end of day trailing drawdown. So what that means is I can build up a pretty reasonable buffer to where now, like in theory, I could never blow the account, but it takes a long time to build that buffer with micros. It's not as, I can't do it in a week. I mean, I could if I was trading 20 trades or 5, 10 trades a day, but it's hard to build that same buffer to where I have $5,000 worth of room in all these accounts if you're trading, 2 to 3 micros.
Absolutely. But here's the other caveat though, is that as fast as you can build that buffer, if you don't manage it correctly, you could easily lose it because there's so many people that you'll see that there'll be like 10K in the positive in equity and then it's gone like within one day.
I've done it. Yeah.
So that's sort of the caveat. It's like, it's, you know what I mean? It's like you can use the sword to your benefit, but the sword and the blade can also cut you at the same time.
You're right. I don't like it, but you're right.
But there's
Rob,
positives to both. Like, you're absolutely right. There's positives to both. There's a lot of people who have success with the mini, so it's really a matter of you understanding your success and a lot of because even in this group, there's a lot of scalpers who can relatively use minis. They can make decisions, fairly quickly and get out of it. But it's sort of one of those things is that what I've noticed with minis, especially, is that if you have that one trade that goes against you and it goes against you very aggressively, it can make you irrational very quickly if you do not catch it. Because I mean, if you lose a $500 to $1,000 of equity within a matter of seconds, if there's a big enough move, if Trump decides to have Twitter fingers, I mean, that can really mess you up mentally. Seriously. So you have to be very disciplined to get off, stay, at least have your parameters where your stop losses and all that are in effect right away to prevent, doing harm to yourself.
No, 100%. Okay, wait, let's talk about it. So some of the things I do is if I'm trading minis, I have to be on Tradeovate and I'm not allowed to mirror it to other firms. Because if I'm copy trading on Tradeovate, it transfers differently. I don't have to worry about contract flops or like, hey, it switched me back into a buy. I stopped doing that and then I have less problems. Not no problems, but less problems. Oh, here's our little retest too if you want to go more, but we'll see. That's one solution I have. Secondly, if any of the accounts are mini worthy, meaning they have bigger than like the $5,000 buffer, it depends on the firm because some firms don't require the same buffer. But let's say they have enough of a buffer. I'm trying to keep it above 3, 4, 5,000, depending on the firm. Then I will trade micros on this platform and on Ninja Trader, I let those be transferred to mini because if those contracts get switched, it's fine. Like, so if it accidentally took micros instead of minis, not going to blow. But the counter is very true to where untrue. So if I took minis and it transferred to micro, you know what I'm saying? Then it blows all the accounts. It had no room. So We're getting there, but I only trade my minis if I'm trying to flip an account real quick. Very, very tight entry, 10, 20 point stop, which on one mini is $200, $400. If it's, you know, 1, 2 minis, 10, 20 points, it's 200 to 400. Very doable. It's doable if you have the room, and then try to let those ones run, but you're protecting so quickly anyway, so we'll see.
Absolutely. And you like you said, you've mentioned this as well, is you can get your targets. That's another advantage with the mini. You can get your targets really quickly and then be done for the day, you know, if it gets in your direction. That takes some sort of discipline too. If you know when you're doing the mini, how many shots at it you're gonna get before you call it the day, and what time frame that you're trying to do it. Because I think too, sometimes some people trading minis, they may do a whole session, and that's sort of a rare thing for someone to have a fortitude to go through hours upon hours of minis after minis without, you know, relatively making huge mistakes or giving it back over time. But a lot of people I've seen that's had success doing that, you know, they may be in the open the first hour or two, they find their one or two moves, make their couple thousand, and they're done for the day.
Yeah, I miss doing that. I do, but for what I'm trying to accomplish, it's not the goal, so I'm not gonna do it. I do miss minis. It's so quick. 10 points and you're like, I'm done. 20 points, you're like, I'm done. 20 points isn't worth as much with 2 micros. It's just not. Guys, look, before we start talking about the retracement from the low to low, okay, so not measured the entire move, but low to low measurement, we're kind of closing above that 62%. So I think we're going to get a little bit more of a retracement, at least maybe to fill into here. But we definitely closed full sale bullish above this area. So not looking for sales just yet. Not yet. Need a little bit more. So from
Patience is the name of the game.
that 100%. Low to low. We're going to keep buying up a little bit more. And look at that pop. Well, it's because they were trying to trap all these sellers. Any seller who got in here, they just took them right there. I'm like, I feel bad for them. I really do. I know what that feels like. 36, 50. Yeah, that was a nice little pop. Just popped up to take all those stop losses.
Even if I hadn't got lucky and got that first drop when the open range started, basically, once I reach my goal, I've got it set up on Trade of 8 to where it does it, where it just like closes everything out. But I leave the demo running because I want to see,
What's possible.
you know, see what it would do, you know, if I'd have left it running. But so I was watching it, and even though I got lucky and got that first move, the auto orb, once it kicked in, it still went, it still dropped another 400, just over 440 ticks. So even if I hadn't caught that first one, the second one would have gotten my goal for the day,
Nice.
if that makes sense.
It does, Robert. You have sim accounts connected, right, on NinjaTrader? That's your demo account.
What I've got a demo on Trade of 8.
Oh, gotcha.
Now, I have a sim account on NinjaTrader, but I'm not using it. I'm using I'm using a Trade of 8 demo as my master.
Can I suggest something that's just worth a look at?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got all those accounts connected. I love the matrix. Remember, not every day's going to be good. Yesterday was crappy for everything. Either way, it was. It's part of it. Now, having said that, I would like it if you created a couple of sim accounts and put one at, let's just say 1 micro. Okay. No daily loss limit, no daily target, and just see how all these trades play out over the course of 90 days and 6 months. Okay.
I was gonna say my
And
Trade of
then-
8 demo is just on one contract.
No, wait though. Do it on 1 mini. So what it would look like if you had 1 mini running.
Oh, okay.
And then do one for like, let's say, 2 minis, and do one for like 3 times the micros that you're currently trading or something, 2 times the micros that you're trading, and watch how those accounts, and they're not always going to be up. Like they're not always going to work the way you want. But I think that was a huge turning point for me to see, especially as I was having all those technology glitches and everything else, trying to do the trade syncer. At that point, it wasn't hooked to this, obviously, but the contract switches and everything, and that blows the daily loss limit. But the accounts are all technically would have been most of the time, not all the time, most of the time would have been just fine. So seeing that evolve over time, for example, I've got a sim account that's got $350,000 and it started with $100,000. So that's a huge gain in a couple of months, given all the ups and downs that I've experienced. It really shows you, wait, there's some rules we have to jump through. We got to work on the buffer. We got to work on some other things, but that's a lot. And they're the same trades. So I haven't just manually traded the sim account for, all by itself or anything. Those are only the trades that I've taken with all the other ones, the good and the bad that's happened. So it was a big turning point for me. I would definitely say look into it and just watch them evolve.
Do you mean you still, in this case, still use the Tradeovate demo as the master and have it mirrored to the sim account?
Yeah. You know how
Okay.
that you can create the sim account on NinjaTrader. So if you go to accounts tab on your control thing, right click, and go to add sim account. And then you can, I wish I could label it better and I can't
I'd
unlabel
have
it.
to research on how to do that because when you start switching to minis and stuff, I have zero knowledge about, because then I'd have to change something in affordable indicators as well, probably.
Yeah. Well, where it says micros, you just, so type, you just click on it once and it'll turn to minis. We're rolling over again. It's been a rough trading week for a lot of people. Just rough.
Oh yeah, I've taken the most L's this week that I've taken in a long time. Small baby L's, but those micros have saved my life, that's for sure.
I forgot
I
about
don't need to
yesterday.
call you out, but is your live account still, sorry, your pro account still going?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm about right now, about 500, yeah, on in drawdown on the actual count. Today I'm up from that down move, but yeah, the last few days been taking a little nips here and there from going there. But it's yeah, just using that size. I'm just using the one micro so I can build a buffer. One of the things that's really difficult is the trailing drawdown because some
Yes.
days that I get out like at a 1-to-1, like when it's good because I'm worried about it pulling back. And then when you get in another entry, sometimes it clips you. So that's sort of the difficult thing. I can't really hold for my 2-to-1. So like when I do take the losses, it evens out. Trailing drawdown has really been something that I've been trying to overcome right now and just get through.
That still confuses me. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go
Yeah.
ahead, Robert. I know it's hard. The trailing drawdown is a lot to, it's when you see these people who I, in all fairness, would have judged, okay, 2 years ago, I would have been like, that's not trading it. I wouldn't have had as much respect. Let me be more fair. Who just took their 10 points. But honestly, get good at just taking 10 points because you need to build it up, like, period. There's just, to me, you can do it slower, but it's hard because that $500 up. Well, here, let me be more fair. $150 up to $150 down. That's day one. Even if you closed out, just one loss, that's still, you've lost, what is that? 5-10% of your trailing drawdown, depending on your account size. It's hard.
Absolutely. I mean, if you go, let's say you're just going for 2-to-1 on each trade, right? And if you reach 1-to-1, but it comes back and hits your stop loss, instead of you taking a 1R, loss, you've taken initially a 2R loss because it's including whatever you gained and your original stop loss on that trailing drawdown. So that's sort of the difficult thing, getting that buffer to break even, and so you can just trade like how you trade. So sort of like what Jenny's saying, like the baby steps, getting your points here and there, and just having that add up over time is sort of a good approach for that. And that's the other thing too, because mine is with take profit, so they do switch from the evaluations part is easier to pass, and then the other one is a little bit more difficult, especially if if you trade a higher time frame like I'm trading, that's a little bit trickier to sort of manage, right? Where Jenny, when she's trading the Apex account, she's dealing with trailing drawdown right off the bat. So that's why you see that she's more proactive with physically managing her trades that she's in on those Apex accounts that she's trying to grow.
Yeah, I'm tired of blowing PA accounts with them, honestly. I wish I was lying. I'm over it, like mentally over it because again, I've got my live accounts. I've got sim accounts. I've got other funded accounts and payouts, but I kid you not, the PA accounts, they're like my unicorn. They're so upsetting. I can't. And it's also different too, though, because I feel like fine, getting there is easy. You can pass in a day or a week, depending on whatever. That's passing accounts is no problem. Thousands of accounts, easy, done. I can do it. But I think the psychological difference from like Take Profit Trader to Apex is not just that they switched to trailing for the funded stage. I know that's there, but it's not like I have to worry about trailing drawdown and 30% and the 5-to-1 rule. Cause then it really tracks you in. Cause fine, what I started doing was just going for my 5-10 points and break evens a lot. And then went to go get a payout and they were like, no, the 5-to-1 rule. I was like, you guys have got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. And then, okay, cool. I went to micros on the 5 minute, submitted the strategy and everything else. I'm like, okay, this is risky trading, okay, whatever else, like the trading definition is not there. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? It's not even a word. Okay, you have to explain your trading strategy. This is the strategy. Okay, stupid. Well, you did micros to minis. I know, because you have all these dumb rules I have to jump through. Sounds like a you problem. Sorry, okay. My vent is over. I'm going to tackle that unicorn. It's just not gonna be today. So just not gonna be today because they irritate me to pieces, you guys.
Yeah, I feel you on that though. That's quite a lot to try. Like I know eventually like they'll pay out and all of that, but it's so many different metrics and things. You have to start over for something that's already, difficult to do, playing with those particular set rules that it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. And then the thing is unfortunately it's so easy to make a mistake that can do your weeks or months or whatever of work that you've gotten and equity that you build on the account. So that's the frustrating part about it is like the amount of leverage that you have as far as for making a mistake as opposed to the gain is highly unweighted, like heavily weighted to the other side. That's a frustrating thing to deal with.
Very. I think the
Did
difference with Take Profit Trader is that once you're there, I can technically build up a buffer in a day or in a week. And yes, I have to deal with the trailing, but that's one thing I have to deal with and not 5. And in worst case, I could just blow it up and go get a payout today or blow it up today. And I know that, but it's just different. What were you going to say, Robert?
I would say, did you mention a 5-to-1 rule? That's the first time I've heard of that.
Look it up.
Yeah, it is a 5-to-1 rule. Yeah.
Who is it that's doing this?
Apex.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
They have a lot of rules. You have to really read between the lines. There's a lot of little, small, dinky, rinky-dinky rules here and there that you have to abide by. But if you meet all those metrics, they'll eventually pay you out.
Yeah, I do know about is it 5 out of 8 days you got to make at least $50 and
That's a different rule. That's another one.
yeah. Oh, here we go. The 5-to-1 risk reward ratio. Oh, okay.
Yep. Robert, you asked in the chat, can you explain the buffer? So, again, please check out the link tree and the website, sixfiguretradingcoach.com. Definitely check them out. Apex is 40% off. Take Profit Traders, 40% off. Funding Ticks is 20% off. Definitely one of the cheapest. Funded Next, one of the coolest, actually. And no, I think I have $14 there. So I'm killing it on that one. Here's the deal. Let's talk about buffers. Funding Ticks and Funded Next, they don't have the same buffer. So this primarily is going to apply to the other firms that do. But the ones that require you to make, so remember you have 2,000 or 3,000 or 2,500 to earn before you pass, depending on what firm and whatever else account size. Once you get to the eval to PA or pro, eval to pro or pro plus, you have to remake that buffer, right? You have to make up that same 2,000 or 3,000 based off of the account. What I mean by the buffer over buffer is it's such a loaded topic because first you've got your trailing drawdown, which is a whole nother topic. But the buffer on the buffer is, remember, Apex's max payout is $2,000. So in order to withdraw $2,000, you technically need to make 4,650, something. It's 4,650, 90% sure. That's the easy part though. So you're kind of doubling the buffer. It's the buffer on the buffer. But when I mentioned that ages ago, I was talking about before you withdraw, because remember, once you withdraw that, it locks your trailing drawdown in a different way. So anytime you withdraw from most of these prop firms, it changes how your end of day or trailing drawdown sits. You kind of blocked at a certain point. So what I started doing was just kind of increasing that buffer before I took a withdrawal, allowing my account to have a little bit more breathing room. Because if you don't, you've pretty much withdrawn your entire trading room, right?
Right. Okay.
This was a great trade. A little late, like we could have got in right here once you broke past, but it would have, I just don't have any good rules to get me in right here. Sure, we rejected off of yesterday's closing price and we got below that previous candle. So this would have been a very risky move, but 43s, and that's not that tight of a top.
So
This,
basically you're taking the buffer and just doubling it.
yes, yeah,
Like for Apex is 25, you're making it 5 instead of 25.
yep. Before you're thinking about a withdrawal.
Okay.
So like on Ninja Trader, Robert, you can go to, let me go to an Apex account, go to actions, go to edit, where it
Because
says,
I was thinking about using 3 as a rule of thumb on all of them because everybody's different. So I was gonna play it safe and do 3 and just make them all 6.
there you go. And remember, I should pull up that spreadsheet again. It's okay to have red days, guys. It's hard for me to digest as well. It's very painful. I get it. But having the red days, remember, let's just go off of three to 500, okay?
I'd
So
forgotten yesterday was also a banking holiday. If I'd remembered that, I probably wouldn't have traded at all. But I I
we
didn't
say
think
that
about
because
it.
we lost. Yeah, I said the same thing because I lost. Because I lost the 2 trades I took in the morning. Now, granted, in my defense, they did not mirror properly. So I kind of lucked out that day. I didn't have a lot to make up. That
You know,
account still closed red.
and what didn't help in pre-market, my very first trade was a good one, but I had everything set up on a 4-way indicator, but I forgot to enable it. So the only thing that actually got that first really good one was the demo one.
Oh, that's the word.
So my losses probably would have been half as much if I would have remembered just to turn the thing on. So it happens.
And look, I go through that all the time. Like the time I took the great trade, nothing got it. The time I took the horrible trade, everything got it. Yesterday, I got lucked out because I took 2 losing trades in the morning, manual trades, and they both lost. And then 1 winning trade in the afternoon, which mirrored properly, and that one won. So if those first 2 had mirrored properly, I would have still been red on the day with that 1 trade. But I was green on the day on every account but 1.
Yeah, I think I was like 72 ticks in profit before I realized because I looked over because I've got like the windows side by side on my VPS just to monitor to make sure they all go through. And of course, when they all close at the same time. And I happen to notice, you know what it looks like when you forget none of that other stuff lights up. It's just that one that's moving.
Yep.
And then that's when I realized I looked over and I'd already, if I'd have done it in time, that was about 72 ticks in profit I missed just because I forgot to turn it on.
Well, we're killing it. Hey, but let's talk about this for a second. And I looked at this again the other day. I'm going to look at it now with you guys. The big picture is long term. So we are releasing a whole automation suite, which is going to change a lot of lives. It will not be perfect every day. It'll definitely be hopefully a little bit closer to this. Okay. But for the purpose of manual trading in the discussion here, I'm going to go to 3 and 500. Okay. Even with 5 accounts. So this is assuming only 80% of the day was win. That means you have 1 red day per week, and one of them has to make up for that, assuming you lost 500, 300 and gained, 300-ish on the other days. That's what you'll equal at the end of the year. Okay. That is not a bad way to be. And that's factoring in for their fees. Okay. It's factoring in to an extent because it's between 80 and 90% fees, depending on what broker. So it's set at 85.
Is
That's not
300 the target in this case?
yeah.
Okay, because that's what I have my set on. That's why I was asking.
But here, Robert, what I want you to see is, ready? What if you lost 2 days a week? Okay. So if you lost 2 days a week, which means 2 of the other days are just making up for the 2 you lost, and you pretty much have 1 winning day a week, just one. 1 day a week at $300 is really only $1,500 a month, well, a week, sorry. That is still net profitable and not blowing. The hard part is when we see that to those 2 red days, we blow it up on whatever day, and then we start all over. So just so you guys know, even if you have and this is a day win rate, so daily win rate. So if you have 2 red days a week, it is still mathematically plausible to be net positive at a 1-to-1. This isn't even factoring in, hey, some of those days are bigger wins, some of the days are whatever you call it, smaller losses. This is assuming you up or down $300. So it's possible. It's just going to take some work. That's all. Just going to take some work. But
No,
let's
you're right. You're
Okay.
right. I was saying you're absolutely right. With the red days, like actually just taking those red days and actually taking it and being sort of happy about it. Like as long as you didn't undo yourself with ruin and the losses that you took were legitimate losses, just letting them even out. Because even I've even noticed in some of the accounts that I've done, I've had like some serious drawdown at some points, and just coming back the next day and taking those wins and lowering size if you're in a deeper drawdown, and eventually getting back to break even and then growing the account from there definitely gets the sustainability, and it'll all work itself. I one of the things that I know that a lot of people look at, as opposed to looking on your daily or even weekly P&L, is look at your monthly P&L. And I know Jenny's mentioned this in a lot of different ways, but it's true. If you look at the monthly P&L and you just taking those full day, those 1 days that you do win and in combination with the days that you do lose, you'll see that you're gonna be, green at the end of the month. That's what you should be looking at. If you're not green, then maybe that should be the time where you reevaluate and see where the opportunities are.
that 100%.
Quick question about the spreadsheet. Is that,
I haven't really.
is that considered a set stop loss for the day?
I don't. I'm sorry. Repeat.
The reason I ask, because some
question.
days, if your stop loss is bigger than others, how this figures into that.
Well, look, I'm never going to try to achieve this dead on. Okay, so this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I'm going to, plant my feet. I'll die on this hill. I don't personally think you should set, I'm not big on setting a daily loss limit as low as you would set your daily target. And I know that's an unhealthy mindset. That's a negative R to R. I do hear you. Like, what was your net loss yesterday? Yesterday was a rough day. What was your net loss?
I would have to look. I actually recovered some of it.
Okay. So after recovery, what was your net loss?
Let me do some quick math,
Okay.
because I'm looking at my demo account. I just had to multiply that by 1.5.
I'm trying to load up my TradeZella. It's just really laggy. Oh, and some of the
Well, that
accounts.
can't be right. Maybe that is right.
Well, here's my argument.
Okay, well, according to what I must recover more than I thought. According to this, I only lost $126. I did do some, I like to avoid afternoon, but I did turn it on for the afternoon and I made some of it back during the afternoon.
Okay. The afternoon trade played out very well, by the way. The afternoon trade made up my losses for the morning, and that morning was
Yeah.
bad.
So
But here's my
technically, if I had the thing enabled, like I told you before, I probably would have came out in the green.
Yes, I was on the screen yesterday. So. And that's kind of my experience is, it's not always that way. There are going to be days that are just a chop fest both sessions. But in my experience, fine, the morning sucked. For the most part, I'll be break even or pretty close to break even or better in the afternoon session. 2 sessions a day. Obviously, we can schedule more, but right now I'm happy with 2. So is it going to happen all the time? No. So my argument for not setting a super tight daily loss limit at 300 and then my daily target at 300 is if I'm locked on the day in the morning, okay, I can't make it up in the afternoon. Now I know that means on the day I'm taking on more risk than I want. Okay, I do recognize that. But for me, where I'm at, and even for you, you made up some of that. Now, sometimes that's a toxic trait. Let's be honest. I'm guilty too. Sometimes making up for that loss, like we talked
Makes
about.
sense. Because if I hadn't have done what I did, I'd have still ended up with a $300 losing day. But since
Yeah.
I didn't have that daily loss set up, I actually only lost whatever I just said, 100 or something.
So that's my 2 cents. I know it's not the best advice, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. You do you. I love you, baby. Have a great day. But this is where I'm sitting at right now. This is not updated all the way. Robert, to show you like real talk, this day I think is equal to, I think it's actually bigger than the rest of these. And I think that's been my experience. And obviously I need to get my losing day under control. That was a tilt day. That wasn't a losing day. That was like a gremlin trading for me day. Okay. I wish I was lying, but I'm not. Like these days are more digestible. But if you notice, if I had a daily loss limit set, let me find one with a lesser accuracy. I don't have one. Oh, that's probably Dragonfly. Hold on. A lesser win rate. Here we go. On this day, I likely would not have closed green if I had a daily loss limit set on some of these accounts too low that I didn't have a chance to like take 1 or 2 losses and then 1 win. And you can tell that by the accuracy right there. So obviously this is again another big, gremlin day, likely. I think it was after tech crap. This one was not tech crap, it was 100% human crap. Human. But that's what we're saying. So like again, net profit on the month is net positive. Obviously for prop firms, it doesn't always count. But my biggest day this month was substantially smaller than my losing days. Substantially smaller. So just knowing that overall, now do I need to get some of those under control? Some of it is tech, some of it is tilt, and that I have to own no matter what. But yeah, especially for automation, I would have it set in a way that gave me room to balance out for the day. And then because I'm closing out so quickly with the profits, I am kind of handcuffing myself with profits. So I'm limiting how much I can gain, but that's fine because since we have an edge that's 70% or better, that's fine. Like I will still be net positive over the course of the month, provided I can maintain the rules. And that's kind of how I'm factoring it in. Is since most of the time I'm going to hit that $300, daily target anyways. It's fine. On the days that I don't, it might be a $500 loss. Like let's say 2 sessions lost and they were really, really bad. So that's not too outsized, right? It's not too outsized. But if I did have a daily loss limit set, I'd probably have it set like at 2 to 3 times more than what I have and that's just like account, save the account. That's all it's doing is saving the account. So, okay, back to the charts, guys. We got our trades on the day. Let me go back. I showed you I don't have all my accounts activated in the TradeZilla. That's just not linking properly. This is a 2-minute time frame, so it's not as crystal clear. But I took the first entry there, got out pretty quickly. I did take 3. It was the sell, and I took 3, sold, got out. This last one, again, the whole case for not holding. I could have got out with almost 100 points more on this last one that I closed out of. So overall, those are the only trades I have. No other trades. And those are the ones that are mirrored, and we got it. Sell accounts are up $1,200. Granted, those are the ones trading minis. So they're trading half as many in the position settings and trading mini contracts. Most of them are just trading 2 to 3 micros. And that's that. So this was a great entry. We are consolidating. I bet you everyone's trying to buy this back up off of the 50% from, this is 50% from yesterday. Because we are technically still above it and we're failing to get back below it. But I think we're going to sell on the day. I think we're taking out yesterday's low, which to give us an idea, that's 130 points away. That is not a bad trading day. I think there's plenty of room. So even if you did something like this, your tighter stop loss is 50 points. I probably would be giving it more to a 1-to-1. Once we break back above here, we're going to pop up to here anyway. So there's no sense in giving it too much more. Something like this. If we are breaking back above this area with closes, and you're looking for that scalp buy, I'd be targeting up to the 730, 740s. If we're staying above the 730, 740s, I'm bullish and no longer bearish. Otherwise, I'm bearish on the day until proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise. Is this locked? That's locked. A lot of points there. Missed out
Yeah,
on
like that. It looks like it's And definitely on the lower time frames too. It hasn't been making a higher high now, and it's actually even JGS 1 minute is showing for it to go down further for a sell.
It is. I think we're gonna come take these levels. Easy. That next pivot point is 25, 5, 10. That's into here. Yeah, you got an easy sell, guys.
Boom, 5 to 1.
You're still holding?
No, new entry.
Exactly what
I'm
you were
still
talking about
holding.
earlier, Scott, huh? With the micros.
Yep.
Sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm still holding.
Went way past my take profit, but I'm happy.
Yeah, another entry in a 1 minute. It's about $100 in the positive right now.
I locked it. That's 3 entries on the day. That's enough. Let's go out of 1. It's gonna probably knock me out. I'm okay with that though. 52s down to 30s. It's 30 points.
As much as I want to touch mine, I made my 300. I'm not messing with it.
Honestly, that's for the best. Most of my accounts are locked anyways. I'm not going to take any more. And I wish I had a bigger target set today, but it just, I don't want to blow up anything either. So I just don't want to. I want to get the small gains. I need the days anyways, because I made enough. And just take my payouts because it doesn't need that much. You don't need too much.
Yeah, I love that, Robert, because if you take that approach and as you build your accounts, and that 300 is 400 and 500 and so forth, if that's the approach you take, just keep taking what it gives you, and as your account grows, so does what you make in a day.
Yeah. Robert, I'm going to show this to you one more time. Okay, 300. Remember, I just want you to remember that even if, because I know you got more than 5 accounts, even if you have 4 red days, what is that? No, 3 red days in a week. Okay, 3 red days in a week. You know, it's not going to be exactly. You're still earning this in a year, which is not a bad income.
On one account.
5 accounts. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have 1 red day every week, and maybe it's a little bigger, a little smaller. Okay, hopefully it's pretty close. Okay, it's okay if it's outsized. You're still looking after fees, after percentages, assuming your red day's 500 and your green days are all 300. You're still looking at 100,000. Okay, so just to see what's possible. So don't get too tripped up. This is a long haul. Jonathan said it today. I know I've said it a lot of times before, but investors don't look at their stuff day to day. Like they don't. A lot of them don't even look at it week to week. Better yet, minute to minute. They don't look. They look maybe monthly, and even that is a lot. Most real time big things they look quarterly. They want an
I know.
update quarterly.
Last week, I showed 2 red days, but I still made 238 for the week off. That's just one contract.
There you go. It's just time. And so take some time. See, I protected there. Look at that. Yeah, small favors. So that's 53s down to, that's only 25 points.
I mentioned this in the chat earlier too, yesterday. And I think you mentioned this before last week. What is this noon to 2 p.m. stuff that's been going on lately? It seems like usually between noon to 2 p.m. nothing moves, but lately it seems like that's where a lot of the better moves are coming from for some reason.
If you remember, I used to target, especially when I was first building the breakout, I like 1230. I like 1230 a lot. I do, because I think we get a nice continuation at 1230. I think we get a nice continuation or a nice reversal that's just enough to catch some points. So I don't know. I don't think it's new. Jonathan and I talked about it the other day. I feel like some of the cleanest moves have been happening while I'm not in front of my charts. And that's that poor me thing. And Noah will laugh. Actually, I recorded him because he was, eating helium out of a balloon. I know he shouldn't. I know. Talk to me later about it. Anyways, I was like, okay, here's what we're doing. And he goes, look at you, mom. That's so cute. I laugh because I will be like, okay, so here's the sell I was going for. Or where
I
am
mean,
I?
even look at yesterday where we had so much chop in the morning, right at noon, it just kind of took off.
Yeah. I show him that. I show him like, okay, so here's wait. Let's go to that yesterday, since yesterday was a mess fest.
Or especially 12:30, like you're talking about. It was even, I mean, I'm looking at 5 minutes. You had one, between 12 to 12:30, there was one candle that was down a little bit, but even right at 12:30 just kept going up until what, almost 1:30.
This is what I'll show him. I'll be like, so I wanted to sell on the day and the market went poof. I wanted to sell and the market went poof. And then the second I stopped trading, the market went down. He goes, Mom, that sucks so bad. I'm like, so I was looking for a buy. It did this for an hour. And the second I walked away, it did this. And I'll show him that over and over again. Just sharing our days and our performance and everything. He laughs because that's what it feels like. I tell him,
So
hey,
it's all your fault.
mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
your fault because you traded at the wrong time, and we should have waited till you walked away, and then we should have started trading.
Absolutely. I feel like absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, we technically got 3 entries on the day. Luckily, this one, I wasn't greedy. That's again working that not being greedy is a skill set. Sold the 3 contracts, got out pretty quickly, sold 3 contracts, was trying to hold more. This one should have been knocked out here, but I was hoping to catch a little bit more. Caught a little bit here, 30 points, 20, 30 points, and that's it. So on the day, I'm sitting at 12.7-ish. Remember, most of the other accounts didn't get a trade because they were already locked for the day. And I don't have to worry about nothing. That's where we're sitting at. A lot of these accounts aren't connected to TradeZilla. I'm gonna have to hook them up. Or rehook them because they're not resyncing. But that's it. So anybody have any questions, comments, things that they want to go over? Robert, you're gonna be my shining testimony for automation. So just so you know.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds like I should be under pressure.
Absolutely. Feel the pressure. Feel it. Okay, feel all of it. Ooh, look
Well,
at that.
another 1,000, another $1,100. I'll have 5 more that are funded.
Nice. Okay.
Another 700 for one more funded.
Nice. Way to stink and go. That's
How's
awesome.
everything been working out for you, Robert, with your approach as far as the patience and, taking what the market gives you? Because I think you sort of changed that a little bit and as trying to be overly active, sort of picking and choosing your times.
The words Robert and patience should not be used in the same sentence. I'm going to get a little bit on the weird side here. There's this theory. This is going to get kind of spiritual in a way, and who knows if this stuff is true or not. But there's this one theory out there that says that you have to spend one of your lifetime under every astrological sign. If you learn the lesson in that lifetime, then when you're reborn again, you're reborn under the next astrological sign. If not, you have to repeat the first one. And I'm an Aquarius. I'm the last on the thing. And I think my lesson in this lifetime, if no other lesson, is supposed to be patience. Because that seems to be the one thing I had the most issues with.
Okay.
Um,
Told
Hey,
you it's
the
going to get a
right
little bit weird,
profession.
but if there's a life lesson to be learned, it's probably that one.
hey, wait, Robert, what's your life path number? Well, what is your guys' life path number? I'm a
I
33.
forgot.
Mine is the most powerful one out there.
Of
I'm a
course it
9.
is.
Sorry, it is definitely. And then Noah's is a 22. So we laugh with Nathan and Rosie. We tell them that Noah's, his spirit, his soul is older than Nathan and Rosie's is because Noah has a magic number. I have a magic number. Nathan and Rosie don't.
I must be under a rock. What is a life path number? I know about signs and all that, but that's the first time I've heard that.
Okay, hold
You need
on.
to find that out, bro. That's
Oh,
numerology is real
Yes.
is real, bro.
The
mine's
one,
a number 8.
I'll check it.
It's pretty much accurate when you read it.
wait, the one numerology guy, he's the number one expert in the world on numerology. He does Fibonacci, he does all that stuff. He's kind of cranky. He comes off, he's a 33. Of course, everyone's super powerful is a 33. Good thing I don't crave power. Like, I just don't.
So I just got to go on the internet and just put in life path number, and then
Yeah, hold on, we're pulling it up.
You
Yeah.
can you can Google and you can put your birthday in, and it'll calculate it. It'll calculate it and give you a
I
description
think it's
on
your
the.
birthday and your name.
Oh, okay.
No, this is different, guys.
This is just
So
birthday on mine.
go to numerology. So unlock your life path number. I'm a 33. So these are all the options. The most evolved is a 33. Ha ha ha. Losers. No, I'm joking. Somebody else down here gotta be a 33. But honestly, I feel like it's also a lot of pressure. Like once you read it, I feel, I'm not too big into horoscopes, but I do believe in math. I do believe in numerology. I believe in the power of numbers and the value of all that stuff. So you got to look it up because
The horoscopes are fairly not like fully into it, but the times that I read it and you read different people's personalities based off of their horoscope sign, I mean, there's a lot of accuracy to some of the traits.
wait, what's your sign, Jonathan?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay,
But
okay. I could
that
totally see you as a
And
Virgo.
what's your
that
sign, Jen?
I'm a Leo.
and you can't
Oh.
go by what you read in the newspaper. You got to have your entire chart done for it to be more accurate.
Well, yeah, because like I'm a Leo, but whatever, like the moon. Oh, I'm not even sharing this, you guys.
Like
Sorry.
in my case, I was born Aquarius, but what they call planets, basically, I used to have a friend as an astrologer. Basically, planets that were above the horizon when you're born, you have more of an effect from the ones below because the Earth is blocking it, in theory. I have 6 of my planets were in Virgo, and I have more Virgo traits than I do um, Aquarius traits.
That's because like the sun and the like your sun sign versus your moon sign are different. So like it's just weird. But one of y'all look up your life path number. I want to know what it is. I'm not going to ask you. I won't do it for you because I don't want your full date of birth on this call. But go look it up real quick. What is your life path, Jonathan or
Mine's
Jill?
8.
Jick.
Oh,
See.
Numerology.com. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Life path number 2 is vibration. Okay. The number of truth and learning. I love that. Those with life path 2 are more likely to seek harmony and peace. Okay, I love that. Us. But you're a baby soul, Randy. I mean that with love. You're a baby soul. And that's not bad. It's an adventure. So the theory, one of the theories, and you guys can look it up, don't quote me, I'm not an expert, is that you have to get through all of these, to get, to evolution, right? To your last final level. And the lessons are harder. Like the life path isn't, it's harder. Like there's more depth to it. There's more internal, it's usually internal, it's not usually external, but there's more lessons that you have to go through. There's more things
Okay,
that you need to achieve.
22. Sorry.
Who's 22?
That was a 22 after I put it in.
Okay, nice. See, you got magic number 2. See, you just have one more level. Just one more. One more. You got to look it up though. It's interesting. This is supposedly way more accurate than the horoscopes.
Interesting.
Because
I
it
never
is.
knew about this. It's interesting.
You guys are gonna have to now. You guys can all read and tell me what your life path numbers are.
Who
So
thought that futures or forex call would have told me about life path?
listen,
Uh,
when you guys all figure out this stuff, I was just lucky to be born in that order. It's just private. Hold on, I'm reading. Yes, harmony, peace, and direct conflict with trading mark. Okay, so Randy, you be our peace guy. There's another thing. It's like I took it for an international review board for research medicine a long time ago. It was like, what are your strengths? And it's like the human strengths test. You guys should read it. We'll look it up to see what your strengths are. And if we all collectively bring our strengths to the table, we can do something enormous. So Randy will be our peace guy. Okay. He'll be our harmony and peace guy. 100%. A mediator in any argument. Often look. Let's look up Jonathan. Master builder. I could see that. And also others. You don't rely on your emotions, but this can come at a cost, as they sometimes come across as all work and no play. I might be told that too often.
Up number 9.
Look up number 9. Who's number 9?
I'm a number 9.
Okay, so see,
yeah,
you're
single digit.
yeah. Jonathan's like, who's your daddy? No, okay. Just look it up. It's a lot of fun. So number 9, like this is the hierarchy of it all. There's a special kind of magic that flows through people.
That's funny.
um, embody the wisdom and sage. by chance, for they have fought their way through many challenges to reach this point and have gained immeasurable strength and awareness along the way. Find themselves in position of providing support and advice, and this feels natural to them. That's beautiful. Spiritually and connected deeply with religion of any kind, right? Devotion to their fellow man, humanitarians by nature. Are you a humanitarian?
I would like to think so.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought 11. And then there's a guy, he always wears his 33 hat and his Fibonacci, but he does all kinds of stuff on the power of like this year and the power of like this day according to this math. And he's 100% mathematical, kind of big smack talker-ish because he's a little cocky, but it's all in, numerology. So you guys definitely look him up. I'm sure I know he's got a TikTok, a Facebook, and all the things. But yeah, now you guys know your life path.
What did you say your number was again, Jenny?
It's no 33.
Oh, 33.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's the most of all. But like this is one website. Look more. It'll say a blessing and a curse. So being born with the life path of 33 is both a blessing and a curse. Individuals with this class can experience a level of spiritual understanding and empathy that most could never begin to comprehend. However, in order to achieve this, you must face this series of like stuff. And I feel like that is 100% true.
Mm.
And yeah, once you the people who are obsessed with 33s and 22s and 11s, they'll tell you what it's all about, like, and why these things matter, because you can accomplish the whole idea is you can do all these great things, but in order to do them, you have to do some work. You got to go deep. You got to do some healing. You got to work on X, Y, and Z. You have to process or go through X, Y, and Z. Man, we are rolling over again, you guys. I'm not even in it. Not in it, but it's kind of cool. Look it up. And then the bigger the number, the older your soul and the more like close to whatever your purpose is. So some people will call it evolution if that's what you believe. Some people will say you're that many levels, if you will, away from, accomplishing your, soul's purpose. Because I do believe we're all, born with spiritual gifts and born with a divine kind of purpose. There's an impact to be made. I believe that with my toes and every part in between, like that there's something more, and it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with something external, which I think is beautiful. And who knows, maybe it's the human that you birth or you raise or the person you talk to for only 5 minutes that you have to evolve to get to the special point, to be able to get to the point that you say X, Y, and Z, or you do X, Y, and Z. I just think everything is super connected, like the butterfly effect and chaos theory, that every little thing does matter. And it makes a difference. Maybe not in the biggest ways you can think of, but it does in ways that we can't possibly begin to measure. So
Yeah, it's sort of crazy too when you see like if there's a lot of people who have been in situations where if they were at a certain place at a certain time, they actually, they might not be on Earth anymore. It's interesting how just fractions of seconds and all that can sort of change time.
it does. I was a huge in college. I loved the chaos theory. So does anyone know what that is? Not just Ashton Kutcher's version, which is not a bad movie, but the
That sounds
chaos.
familiar, but you may have to go ahead and refresh us.
Okay, the chaos theory is, in layman's terms, basically something as small as the flap of a butterfly's wings, 1,000 miles away, can literally impact every single aspect of something, 1,000 miles away. It can change the course of the future entirely. And I know that sounds like an extreme theory because it's like, well, it doesn't matter, right? And I know it's a perfect storm of things that must align for that to matter. We're just saying that it's possible, right? So that one butterfly's wing, which we know beats a bajillion times a second, could have waved this and changed the trajectory of this, and this, and this. There's a movie, I think it was the early 2000s, which does a good job. And there's, of course, a crap ton of books on it. But the whole theory is it's beautiful to realize that everything is interconnected and everything does make an impact, even if you can't see it and don't know it. The smallest, minute things, they make a difference. They make an impact. So
Yeah, there's even I've seen it explained too. I've seen the movie. The movies are good too.
yeah.
From where the flap of a butterfly's wing seems small, but by the time it goes through all these iterations of different things that it causes, the cause and effect, it in theory could turn into a Category 5 hurricane that destroys the East Coast.
Yes, entirely.
That's one example.
Yeah. And or it could have saved somebody's life, literally. And if you read the science and kind of follow the rabbit hole of a path, I don't like it necessarily on the chaos side, obviously, because that's painful and it's scary and it makes you fearful of the world. But on the other side that says the time you walked out of your door and you kind of had a better smile on your face, you don't know the impact it would have made to the neighbor who maybe wasn't okay that day. Like you don't, and that's more obvious, but every little thing you do, the look on your face when you're driving down the road, you don't know that it may make or break somebody's life. Like it does all matter. It does all count. And maybe not in the way that today we can see it. Just like all the efforts we're making with these prop firms, you might not always see it. All the efforts to build this company, it doesn't always look like it, but you're changing lives in one way or another. And it is never, ever, that is your legacy. That's going to outlive you times 10. So kind of beautiful. Beautiful. So look up chaos theory, look up your life path. We will be back on tomorrow. I'll meet you on these charts. Elijah just got 50 points. You got the better move. You got in here, 85s, down to 38s, so 40 points. That was a clean move. Clean.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that was
How's
smooth.
Kurt been doing? I haven't seen him in a little bit.
Oh, he's doing his thing. He's got his take profit trade. Well, he doesn't come on calls too much, but he's working on the railroad right now. If I'm not mistaken. So his work schedule is a little different, but he's got his Top Step Pro accounts and his Pro Plus accounts. He's doing the dang thing. He's very good at some of his entries were literally like 1 minute entry, like 1 point entries. And I laughed. I said, did you set it that way? I was like, how did you catch 1 point exactly? Like, tell me how, because I don't even know how I did that. He goes, no, I
Yeah.
just did it. And he goes, I had to go. So he's gotten really good at the catching on Forex, sorry, on futures, catching the couple of points to handle their rules. But I know he's actively growing some FX accounts just because of how easy it is. So he's gotten exceptionally good. He's using some, I think his EMA is a little faster. And then of course for value gaps on the 5 minute, 1 minute time frame, but extremely good at just holding the move. And of course on Forex, we can hold it. And if he's wrong, if you're not over risking, you can scale in. And he does. He'll scale in to the nth degree and hold, which I don't necessarily hate that because I've done it myself. And it's like, okay. No, it works until it doesn't, though. And there's been times where it didn't for me. So, but he's doing really good. He's doing really good at trading. His life is going good from what I know. His wife and his kids are good from what I know. So,
Yeah,
oh, but
absolutely.
guys, say a prayer for Miss Charlotte. I think she is in the. Actually, let me check. Bear with me. Couple of business updates. Let's see. Number one, be careful. I don't DM anybody. I do my best. Please be careful. There's an entire office, I guess, in outside of Myrtle Beach that is using our company's name, has a physical office right outside of Cheesecake Factory. And it's the same people that are DMing people and scamming them out of thousands of dollars. So please, for the love of God, we don't do any of those things. Okay. There's never a time. Everything we do is in the link tree. Everything we do is on the website. Please be careful. Also, I don't do a lot of DMs, guys, because I can't. Miss Charlotte is in the hospital. So I knew I saw her name pop up. So make sure you guys say a prayer to her and reach out. She's been part of the community for a lot of years. We've got quite a few people who have been in and out for lots of years and they're on the sidelines, but they love you guys. They say hi. Make sure you say a little prayer for Miss Charlotte. And otherwise, we caught our monies. If you're done on the day, be done. I'm going to do my best to also be done and work on my ever-growing list of other to-dos. And then I'm going to the spa because I love it there. And it's so happy there and peaceful there. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So happy trading, guys. Thank you so much. Peace and harmony.